Discovery Leaders Live, where I get a chance to chat with luminaries in e-discovery and related areas. This broadcast is sponsored by Reveal Brainspace, the industry's leading AI e-discovery platform. Don't forget to subscribe to watch me, George Sosha, weekly with leaders in e-discovery. Thank you for tuning in.
Welcome to eDiscovery Leaders Live, hosted by ACEDS and sponsored by Reveal. I am George Sosha. I head up brand awareness at Reveal, and we are broadcasting to you live from Legalweek this week with a background very different from the one you usually see, and perhaps some background noise you don't usually hear. I have with me as my guest now, Nicholas Wilson from Law & Order. Nicholas, welcome.
Thank you, George.
So I would like to start with having you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and where you do it at.
Okay, so I'm from Law & Order. We're a legal technology and litigation support firm from Australia, based in Australia, but we work globally. So a bit of background about myself. I used to work as a clerk for a barrister. Barrister is what we call an attorney in Australia. I'm sure you're aware of that. And after a few years of doing that, I moved into the legal tech space because I found that was far more interesting than working in practice. I still may return to practice later on, but for now, I'm thoroughly enjoying working in legal technology. So I've been at Law & Order for 4 years, and I really love the intersection of technology and law. It's changing all the time. It's an exciting place to be. And I suppose that's the general focus of this Legal Tech Week.
Very much so. And at Law & Order, what is your focus?
Okay, so I'm the director of the e-hearings department. So e-hearings are digital courts, digital trials, and all the different services that work within the e-hearing space. So I suppose the point where, in the life cycle of a matter, the point where the e-discovery starts to phase into preparing for court, that's when the e-hearings kind of intercepts the navigation through the life cycle of a matter.
What then is the difference between a hearing and an e-hearing?
Okay, so a hearing in a traditional sense is where you're not using all the digital tools to basically enhance different parts of the process. I'd say most courts these days are facilitating an e-hearing to most degrees, because if you've got live transcription or you've got a video conferencing platform running, then that's still an element of e-hearing. But if you're engaging with all of the elements possible, so you can have an enhanced evidence presentation or trial presentation, live court reporting, if you've got multi-language matters and you've got to have interpretation booths, you've got translations of documents, and you're also incorporating video conferencing, adding in different elements of electronic evidence that are more advanced than just putting a document up on a projector.
So that sounds like a lot of equipment, a lot of technology. Yeah. What is it really like?
Well, so my team, we're a team of lawyers and technologists. And so we've got IT specialists, we've got AV personnel, we've got paralegals, we've got evidence experts, we've got coders, we've got data experts. And we all work together to basically design solutions that customize the focus of what a lawyer wants to achieve, to enhance their persuasive abilities in their litigation, to enhance their demonstrables, their electronic evidence, to make everything accessible for the judiciary in the best way possible, to give them the best chance for success for their clients.
You've got then multiple constituents involved.
Yes.
Let's walk through a few of them. For the lawyer, what is the experience like of a e-hearing with you?
Well, I think at the end of the day, if you engage with an e-hearing with the full suite of services, you're going to have a much better work-life balance, because a lot of the things that we provide for lawyers is to enhance their process, the speed, the agility, the flexibility. And I think that's the best benefit gain that will come out of it. But the process that a lawyer would go through is their juniors would work alongside our paralegals. They would set up all the databases. All of our platforms integrate with Relativity, all the discovery platforms. So we'll move whatever's going to be tendered for court into our platform. and then we'll start to organize the integrations with the transcription for when you go to court. Everything will start to automatically hyperlink with the document database. And it's just a much more sophisticated, advanced, sort of search-capable platform that's used in court for both the presentation and the binder. E-binder, I suppose, is what I should call it, because in Australia we would call it the e-bundle. But over here I've been told it's a binder.
Or any number of things. I think we don't have as specific and formal a term for it here.
Okay.
In terms of the interface that the lawyer is working with, both what they see on a screen and the equipment itself, what are they looking at?
So the platform that we use as the foundation for the e-hearing is Lexel. And so the reason we're here at Legalweek is to launch Lexel in the American market. So Lexel was designed by Legalcraft. It's an Indian firm, and we're joined by Vamshi at our booth at the moment, and he's the COO. I'm from Law & Order, as we talked about before, and Law & Order and Lexel have been major partners for years now. We've co-designed and enhanced the platform over a number of years. The most recent version was just updated about over the last 2 months, and that includes Zoom integration now. We've got all these new APIs that add a different SaaS model. So depending on the scale of the workspace required, you can have a more self-managed SaaS approach, or you can have the larger version with a full suite, all the bells and whistles, and then you'll have my staff supporting that database. And the Lexel platform is very user-friendly, so it's good for the judiciary. When you've got the matter set up, you'll have, so let's just imagine you're a court participant in the courtroom or an arbitration, whatever the hearing is. Say at the ADGM courts, for example, you would have your laptop with the bundle, you would have your live transcription on a screen here, and you would have the video conference platform. So our Lexel platform integrates with Zoom and other video conference platforms. So you'll have that component as well for anyone that's remotely joining to the hearing. And then you'll have another screen where you've got the evidence presentation, so the trial presentation of the documents. And so that's all integrated with the one platform.
So that for me as the lawyer, which one of those would I be working with and how?
I suppose the main thing you would work with is the bundle to find the documents that you want to prepare for, if you want to annotate things, tag it, add categories, because the trial presentation will just happen automatically. We'll have our staff working on that as an attorney calls for a document, as a judge recalls a document, that'll just come up automatically. You've got the court reporters working on the transcription. Even though these are all integrated with the solution, they will just happen in real time.
So I would be there. I've got a witness in the witness stand. The judge is there overseeing everything, figuratively and literally. The court reporter is there doing what court reporters do. For me, as I want to bring up a next exhibit as part of the questioning, I would then let one of your people know where to go, what exhibit to bring up. They would pull it up. I would have a screen where I can preview what was coming up, I assume.
So that's what you would have your bundle for. You could be looking at the document you're about to call up. And so that way, and you might note to one of your juniors, oh, we're going to bring this up with this next line of questioning when we're crossing that witness. And then you would, call out to one of the Law & Order reporters, say, Mr. Operator, can you please bring up Exhibit A1? And then that will come up on the screen. If you want to call out, paragraph 10, call out paragraph 10, highlight line 2. And then maybe if there's a paragraph running over 2 pages, you want context between the 2 sections, you can call that out together, have it in a side-by-side mode, and then you've got that all up with one paragraph. And that works with translation documents. Maybe you want English on one side and then you've got the Spanish on the right side. And it's effective for that. So maybe you've got some data sets, you want to bring up an Excel spreadsheet and you want to bring up some affidavits with receipts on it that are supporting that audit trail. So there's a lot of ways that you can do that.
The Excel spreadsheet, you can bring that up in Excel, for example, so that I could then say, and now go to this cell, and this cell, show this formula, and now let's figure out where the number is. Here's the number in the cell, here's the formula, let's figure out where that... Wonderful.
And there's also an offline mode. So there's a mobile app that was just launched recently. So that way you can download it on your phone and you can review the transcript as you're in the taxi heading home to the hotel after you finish court for the day. You know, there's a lot of other features that have been added lately. I suppose in response to the pandemic, we've worked out different ways to resolve team collaboration, you know, advance the hyperlinking capabilities. If you've had maybe 3 matters where one document's got 4 sets of identifiers, we've got very advanced index capabilities as well. So you can have lots of aliases and it all works seamlessly across the workspace.
Now let's shift in the courtroom, and I'm no longer the lawyer, but rather I'm the judge.
Sure.
What do I see?
So when you're a part of the judiciary team, you'll be in a siloed team. Well, every party, both parties, or if there's multiple parties, they'll all have their own siloed team, and the judiciary will have its own team as well. The judiciary's team will be the judge, associate, maybe a court officer, depending on who requires access. And it'll be a much more stripped back version, just so that it's easier to observe. But the judge still has all the same capabilities as any party has in terms of annotations, highlighting. So yeah, it's pretty similar.
A kill button of some sort, I assume.
And it's really helpful for the associates to have access to the platform because they can go through and mark all the exhibits and create folders with the exhibit, so it makes their life a lot easier as well. And then I guess whilst the judge is contemplating their decision towards the end, it becomes an invaluable tool for that process as well.
And I assume it's not just judges, it could be an arbitrator, it could be a mediator or a panel of mediators.
Yeah, the tribunal, so when we've got an arbitration running, there'll be a much bigger tribunal team. If there's 3 arbitrators, maybe the tribunal secretary, and then they'll work in the same kind of way. And
then there will be, of course, witnesses. What's the experience like for a witness up there?
Okay, so typically the witness would have the most limited version of this platform. The extent that they would see is the live transcript and the documents that are being presented. So they wouldn't normally have access to a trial bundle unless we're in a situation where the documents that are to be displayed are confidential in nature, or there's a particular non-disclosure agreement that's surrounding that document. And then the witness might have a very basic access to one folder, and they'll open that just to see that one document. And after their examination concludes, that folder's purged, and then maybe there's a new document put in the folder for the next witness that's up on the stand.
Is the witness, and I know this only happens in certain situations, but are there situations where the witness is given the ability to control what's on the screen, for example, to navigate within an Excel spreadsheet?
Yeah, we can provide that access. It's really dependent on the parties. If the parties require that the witness does that, and yes, there's sometimes panels of expert witnesses, and you've got 2 people representing 2 very different sides of the expertise, and they will want to show and navigate their spreadsheet in one way, whilst the other one with a varying opinion will navigate it in a different way. And that we'll be able to provide that on the screen for everyone to see. It's done a lot less, but it's definitely possible.
Yeah, when it is done, it becomes a very valuable capability.
It does.
Because it's for that special witness and that special set of information. You're based in Australia.
Yes.
You're not only in Australia.
No.
What's your geographical coverage look like?
So we have partners in London. We work in the Abu Dhabi court system. We work in Singapore, Hong Kong, Paris. Last year in December, I was in Miami. I was running an ICSID matter and I did a PCA matter. So we have started to work in the States a bit more, but at this stage, I'd say we're just dipping our toes in the waters, and hopefully there's a lot more to come as the months go on.
So that leads me then into the question then, what is to come? What does the future look like, or what should the future look like?
Well, there's always a lot of innovative change in e-hearings, just like there is in all areas of legal technology. But what I'm really excited about at the moment is the virtual reality and the augmented reality electronic evidence. And so that's where you'd require wearing either the virtual reality headsets or the Google glasses or any kind of AR glasses. And then that allows you to move into immersive environments using different technologies like LiDAR scanning, photogrammetry, 3D video, as well as 3D modeling for the AR. And so that's a space that I can see evolving and becoming a lot more prominent over the next 9 to 12 months. Yeah.
That's a very short time frame.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's, as you can see, there's a VR headset as one of the prizes in there. It's becoming a technology that people are adopting a lot more commonly now,
Yep.
and it's evolving quite quickly. So yeah, it's a good way to be able to have a site visit without requiring everyone to go there. So say if there's, for example, if it's an arbitration, there's a dispute over an oil rig, rather than having to send every arbitrator, who are typically in different countries, to that country, to that oil rig to see what happened. You can just send 1 or 2 people there as operators to record, scan, map out the location, create all the different conditions of night and day, rain, daylight, everything, and then you'll create that immersive environment for the arbitrators, for the legal parties, for the witnesses to be able to engage with that environment, understand where the issue took place and what was involved there, the culture and the society of that space, and not have to fly everyone to a particular location so they can all engage and understand what the genesis of that issue is.
It sounds as if it goes even farther than that, because it's not just taking them to a particular location. It's also not taking them to a particular location at a particular point in time where the circumstances, the external events might be out of control. Because you said recording, so you can show them what those remote conditions would be like at 3 a.m. versus 3 p.m.
Yeah, maybe it's raining.
When it's raining,
maybe it's
versus
not.
when it's the sun is out. I can envision a whole host of possibilities with that are quite intriguing.
Yeah, well, especially with crime scenes.
Yes.
That's something that will help prosecutors a lot as well. And that is a big area of interest in terms of that technology and what we're doing with that evidence. Because to be able to reinvent a crime scene when you record it when it's fresh, but then you can also create it so it's manipulable with the different conditions, it will apply a lot more value as the months go on, and that crime scene's now dismantled, and all you're left with is photos and videos. Well, now you can actually engage with that crime scene again in an untapped way, and that's another benefit of it. Another way that you could utilize AR, for example, is you could say, for example, it's an insurance claim and you want to explain how the car is moving down the street before it turns a corner and crashes into another vehicle. You could have everyone wearing an AR glass or the Google Glass or any AR compatible glasses, and everyone can see that mapped out in front of them in the courtroom in a 3D way. And so it's easier to interpret what's happening with the situation. Because sometimes, I'm sure you've seen it yourself, you'll have these little models where people have got like toy cars moving through to try and demonstrate what happened.
And I've done the site inspections where we've videotaped and put together videotape with the animation, but this is taking it to an entirely different level.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's why I'm excited about it. So watch that space. It's
definitely.
There's a lot more to come there.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much. So Nicholas Wilson is with Law and Order. I am George Sosha, and this has been eDiscovery Leaders Live, hosted by ACEDS and sponsored by Reveal. Nicholas, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, George.
Okay.
Pleasure.